channel. Steve Akley here at my place, the ABV Barrel Shop, suburban St. Louis. Come by and see us. You never know what's going on. We're always getting new barrel picks in. As I do this right now, it's 12:40, and I was told between 12 and 1, we're going to get delivery of Still 630 in St. Louis. Our latest barrel pick from them. Dave Weglarz, the owner of the company, could show up right now and deliver this. And if so, I'll pause the video. We'll take a break and I'll come back and I'll taste it with you guys. So you never know though. That's the kind I don't know if that's going to happen, and you never know what's going to happen when you're sitting here at the tasting bar. You're trying a couple whiskeys and stuff like that. Next thing you know, here comes a distiller. He's got whiskey with him, and we're like, hey, this is our latest pick. You want to try it? So that kind of cool thing happens. Got a special video for you today. This is your questions. So I asked for this when I was in Florida. I put a video. I really wanted to show off the fact I had a cool room with the right on the beach, and I wanted to show with the beach in the background. I was like, oh, if I shot a short video asking for questions, I can show how cool it is that I'm here in Florida. So that's what I did. So you can go back and check out that video. It was a cool balcony view. I love Pensacola Beach. One of my favorite beaches in the world, and the reason for that is beautiful white sands. The water's awesome. I also like the fact it's not overly crowded typically. It can be on holiday weekends and things like that, but when I try to work around those things, I try to navigate that so I don't end up there when all that kind of stuff's going on. And then what I like too is no chain restaurants. I hate chain restaurants. I'm sorry if you run a chain restaurant. That's not my thing. I like places that are owned by real people, mom and pops. Not owned by Wall Street, where your money's going to some corporation based out of Delaware that basically is taking the money and giving it all to one person, the CEO. He's making $20 million, and everyone else makes $3 an hour. That's just not my thing. You might like that. I just feel like all the food's kind of the same. Is there a big difference between Chili's, TGI Fridays? Applebee's, I think it's all the same. I spin the wheel and just if you like those things, just spin the wheel and then go to whatever one it lands on. Outback Steakhouse. There's a little twist on each. I'm not saying 100%, but I think for the most part, to me, it's kind of all the same. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about your questions. Got on a sidetrack there. It happens. So what are some of the things you asked? Number one, first question. We got somebody who likes to display their bourbon, but I guess where they display it, it's taken direct sunlight. And what is the impact on that? What do I think happens? I don't think it's good. I got to be honest. Direct light, is going to break down what's in the bottle. Direct light breaks down everything. I mean, you look in the back of your car. If you have something in the back of your car, and it's on the deck, and then you have it there for 10 years, and you're parked outside, and then you move it when you go to sell your car. You look at it, looks like a tattoo is there. Those same type of things. That sunlight is going to be breaking down what's inside that bottle. It's just going to be. It doesn't happen like overnight. It doesn't happen in a day, a week, a month. But over time, it's going to have a negative impact on your whiskey. It's going to break down what's in that bottle. And also, if you have natural corks. Now, there's less and less natural corks these days. We got more synthetic, more hybrids that are part synthetic, part cork. Not as much impact on them, but if you have the old-fashioned cork, I think that's going to have a negative impact on that. So you're going to lose some to air. You're going to be introducing more air than normal. It's just a whole thing going on. So I would say try to mask that. I don't, cover your whiskey or get a shade or something like that to block it, to make sure you're not putting it out in the direct sunlight. Or don't get an overabundance of bottles. And, again, it doesn't happen that quick. Keep a manageable amount that you want to put on display, and then just drink through those, and there's always be replacing them. That's the best I can tell you. I think that sunlight would be certainly negative on your whiskey collection. All right, next question. Am I wearing Skechers in the question video? This is the kind of questions I get. So there you go. Am I wearing Skechers? I famously hated Skechers, and then I suddenly love Skechers. So it all comes about because I hated Skechers. I just thought they're old people's shoes. And well, I'm old now, I guess. Somebody would say, well, sure, you like Skechers, you're old. I guess that's the transition. Maybe when you buy your first pair of Skechers, you're officially old. And I get that. We could say all that stuff because I just have to live with it now because I hated Skechers. They were the butt of jokes. So, when someone would be like, oh, my back hurts, my knee hurts, I'm like, you should get some of them Skechers, because you old people like those. So it was just always kind of a running joke for me. I certainly said it on the podcast enough times. But then I was looking for some stylish slip-on shoes. I got tired of doing the laces and stuff like that. So I find some, I'm like, oh, I like this color. And those look pretty good. And then I see, no, it's Skechers. And I thought, But then I was looking, they had Goodyear technology on the sole so you don't slip. Goodyear, I like Goodyear tires. They had the step-in technology, not just slip-on, step-in. So you have to say, you don't have to worry. Sometimes you get the slip-ons and you get that flat tire. You try to put your shoe on without using, and then you got to bend down anyway. It's like, what's the point of this? I'm trying to get the shoes where I don't bend down, and now I'm bending down. This was step-in technology. And then I started looking at the Skechers website. I see Snoop Dogg's involved. I'm like, oh, I like Snoop Dogg. I think I'm going to buy these Skechers, and I'll just try them. And if they're bad, I'll just throw them away, and no one will ever know the difference. Well, I got the damn things, and I love them. I mean, they're comfortable. I do feel like they're stable on the ground, more so than regular tennis shoes, and even in wet conditions. And I was like, well, I can either try to just hide this, and someone's going to call me out, or I can just admit it on a podcast. I admit it on a podcast. So that's how this comes about, this question, am I wearing Skechers? And the answer is no, but, ... No, I'm not wearing Skechers in that commercial. I'm in Florida. I'm wearing sandals. So I know that for a fact, even though that was a while ago that I did that video. But that being said, I just purchased some Skechers sandals. So they're on the way, though. They're not here, so I was not wearing them in that video. So when you see me in Florida the next time, if you ask the question, am I wearing Skechers? The answer is going to be yes, because I have some Skechers sandals on the way. So there you go. What about finished bourbons? Sometimes they're good, sometimes not. Is there a chance that this could bastardize, the bourbon world or the whiskey world, American whiskey, to the point where it becomes like vodka? Remember, vodka had its day, and it was exciting for vodka people. I was a bourbon guy the whole time. But for vodka people, they were having their moment, and then they started adding flavors, and people were like, this is crazy. I want to, and next thing you know, it's like, I love this whipped cream vodka. And then someone's like, I love the sprinkles vodka. And then someone's like, they got the new sprinkles and whipped cream vodka. And then they got the new sprinkles of whipped cream vodka with the cherry on top vodka. And, all these different flavors. And next thing you know, vodka goes to like from half an aisle, a partial section to, the whole aisle of vodka. And next thing you know, no one cares anymore. All those flavors just become white noise and no one cares and people quit buying the vodka. It's still a viable distilled spirit for, cocktails and stuff like that. But again, this mass of people that were like, I'm just a vodka drinker now because they got all these cool flavors, got tired of it. And this is a legitimate question. Are we worried that finished could ruin bourbon? And I get that. I say it's definitely going too far. Sometimes, we get to the point where that's all we're drinking is finished whiskey. So we've been doing like Bourbon Club and things like that recently. No finish. Can't bring any. We're whiskey drinkers. Let's get away from the finishes and let's just go back to just really good whiskey. And I think that we need to do that. Now, not to say that finishes are bad or we're moving away from finishes here at the ABV Barrel Shop. We're going to continue to get finished whiskey. But at the same time, it's important for us to always remember what our start is, and that is just regular, American whiskey, bourbon, rye, those sort of things. And that's going to be the focus of what we do. I think the finishes have a place. They can be good. They can be some of the best whiskey that you drink if it's done the right way. But let's not go overboard on them. So there you go. Let's see here. Last question. What would Godzilla drink? All right. So I am a Godzilla fan, and I've talked about that. I wear Godzilla shirts sometimes on these videos. Not wearing a Godzilla shirt today. If you want to, is that Godzilla? No, it's not. It's a Jaws shirt. Very professional. I got the Jaws shirt going. But what would Godzilla drink? I think that's a simple answer. Godzilla would have hazmat bourbon because he blows fire, right? That's one of his powers. And, you light it up with a little hazmat, you're going to get a little bit extra kick on that fire. So I think the answer is clear there. Whoever asked that, the answer was obvious. So, I think if Godzilla's a boozer, he's going all hazmat. So we've got a couple hazmat picks in here. We got one from Art of the Spirits. We got one from Nobleton's Distilling House. Pick those up. They've got the Godzilla endorsement. Well, there you go. That's it for today. Thanks for the questions. Those of you that submitted those, appreciate it. We'll do this again. Take care.